What's going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
I'm Pat.
And I'm Zach.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. They say you can't choose your family. Well, you also can't choose which era of music you grew up in. This is a weekly show where we discuss our favorite bands from adolescence and how they continue to shape our lives today. Each week, we'll head back to the early 2000s and take a closer look at the cards we were dealt. Ladies and gentlemen, more tunes!
More tunes.
What's up, everybody? This is episode 106. 106. That is 106.
Not true at all. This episode was recorded horribly out of time, as were most of these recent ones for the holidays. This is, in fact, episode 109. Also, I did not feel like sourcing a good sound effect for this portion of the show.
2001 Mixtape Draft, y'all.
This part is true. This is, in fact, the Mixtape Draft episode. Hold on to your butts.
If you wanted more tunes, you've got more tunes, because we're bringing you more tunes.
This is a steadily increasing tunes driver here this episode. There will be, in fact, more tunes.
Is it fair to say that it's gotten more competitive since the last time, the first 2001 Mixtape Draft, we all got kind of surprised by some of the songs we missed? Would you say that we've all done considerably more research for this draft?
Well, it was the year 2000, first of all, but I was horrified by some of the songs that I missed from the year 2000. So I'm really hoping to do a better job this time around. And I think it's only going to get more competitive over time, because this is when we all really started coming into the music scene and all kind of like discovering all the same bands at the same time.
Dear Darude, sorry. Because Sandstorm was super fundamental in a lot of the techno dance parties we threw during gym class. And for us not to have drafted it on the podcast version of our song appreciation for the year 2000 was surely a misstep on our part. Apologies, as always, to you and also the lovely Rachel Ray.
So I'm hoping to do a better job this week. And for me personally, I really have to play the drafts smarter to make sure that I get what I want, first or second pick. I'm really worried about 2001 because I have some on here that I would...
It's an important year. I look at some of the years. Some of them aren't important to me. This one is definitely a heavy hitter for me, I got to say. I'm nervous. Well, I think we should just say that Take Off Your Pants and Jacket came out in 2001, so all three of us are going to be scrambling for... Just roll the dice, Tom. We got to start. Let's just get it over with.
I actually feel really confident about this year because as I was looking through the top 100 Billboard makers, I was like, man, I remember that one. I know I liked that one a lot. So, and then I went down rabbit holes with those tunes, and then I found more tunes. Imagine that. Just like there were a lot of memorable moments with family or friends, and I was like, damn, 2001 was just such a good year for tunes for Polson. So anywhere from fishing on the dock, like the pier, where the big old lighthouse is, and of course the release of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Fishing. It's not something like, I didn't know. It's one of the things you don't realize that you assume everyone does this. I'm like, growing up in Erie, you're like, oh, everyone shovels several feet of snow every day right. for much of the year. And they all know how to fish, like have a deep, intimate knowledge of fishing with like some older person. It doesn't happen in much of the country. So. But yes, fishing. I miss it. I miss you fishing. We should do a fishing episode. Where are we at, Tom? Who drafts first?
You mean you don't put on hip waders and go down to 20 Mile Creek every Friday?
Yeah, I don't go to 8 Mile there, bud. You know that's where the trout. I mean, there was a spot. Zach, you and Matt Soder. You could just go pick them up. there was too many fish.
Which is and was illegal.
Like without going out of your way too much, you could just come into many of them. Wow. Should I just grab any of these? Because they are within spitting distance, literally, of where I was walking on my way home.
We did grab them from underneath this waterfall.
Did you catch it, or did you fist fight it and just carry it? Huh? Like, did you just grab 3 in each handful and drag them through the woods?
Use my fingernails as bait, Pops.
Yeah, just like you taught me.
All right, so should we roll to see who goes first here?
Please, yes.
Okay.
Although, for the record, I could go another hour on fishing in Erie, PA. Just let the good people of the Reminiscent fandom know.
All right, here we go. I'm going to roll for Zach.
What's the number again?
5.
Up to 5?
Up to 6.
Oh, okay, so we're not using the D&D dice this time.
I'm using a normal 6D here. D6.
A little off-brand, but okay.
Okay.
Oh, you rolled it already.
Yeah, so I got you with a 5. I'm rolling Pat right now. 4. Rolling for me. 2. Okay. Zach, Pat, me.
Okay.
What's the order? First round.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
Will Tom get to take first date is the question.
So, in the spirit of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, I'm not going to pick a song from that album. For my number 5, because I'm going to go from the lowest ranking to the highest ranking.
That's such a bad sports move.
No, it is. It's a good sportsman, literally defined as a good sportsmanship move. So I think,
Sportsmanship.
yes.
Okay.
But sports moves.
Bad for
beast.
business, right?
So I'm going to throw you all for a. Well, actually, I'm not going to say that because I really don't know what I'm going to throw you. But
John Prine.
no, I'm gonna throw a dart right now and look at my list, and I'm gonna have to go with Sugar Ray. When It's Over.
Oh, God.
That
Nice
was
pick. Nice pick. It was in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, it was
You had
number
me for a
1 in
second.
my honorable mentions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm so glad it was
Good pick.
there.
Good pickup.
Oh,
cool.
what a jam.
We should do a Sugar Ray episode. That was such a good pick.
Pat. Oh,
Yes.
God.
Interesting. I'm going to, since we're being gentlemanly about Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and I don't think Tom's going to pick the Toy Page song that I'm going to choose. I'm taking a chance, and I'm going to go Party Hard by Andrew WK because it's a good first song on a mixtape to just get you going.
Yeah, dude. I do.
So
love
Andrew
that
WK,
song.
what an album. There's like 3 of those songs. She is beautiful. It's time to party and party. You know, it's, Andrew WK, fans of his on this program. It'd be a pleasure to interview him one day. But yeah, it's always my wannabe Halloween costume that I never do is dressing up in all white and having the blood coming out of your nose and wearing a nice brown long-haired wig and all that.
He actually beat his face with a brick and then took that photo.
Now he's like a contributor to Vice and like a motivational speaker. Wouldn't he tongue-in-cheek run for president in 2016 as under the party? Like just, we should honestly do an Andrew WK episode. I mean that in a big way. But yeah, that's my number 1 pick.
Wow. You guys were too nice to me, right? You know how bad I needed this.
Well, it'll be not as nice if you pick the song off Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, the one that I want.
Well, I'm a businessman.
A business, man.
Right. So my first pick has to be First Date.
Okay, phew, thank God.
Do our listeners know the backstory of First Date about the Halloween?
We have mentioned it, but very important song to us. Halloween of 2012 is
Yeah, that
right?
sounds right.
Yeah, dude.
I took a bus to Pittsburgh where I was picked up by Zach with my friend Sydney, and then Zach drove us to OU for a Halloween party at Pat's University, and we dressed up like Blink-182 from the First Date video, and our outfits were impeccable.
They were pretty spot on.
Link in the show notes.
Down to the wigs, too.
Oh, the wigs, the design on the hats.
The mustaches.
I was lucky enough to find the same shirt that Travis was wearing, and we practiced the little banter they had before the music video. I remember being 14, couldn't play that drum fill to save my life. It's funny, the things that seem so difficult when you're a child. One of their greatest songs, not the greatest song, because as you know, All the Small Things is my number 1 of all time, but I cannot be a nice guy about that one. I need First Date on my mixtape or else I'm going crazy.
Well, I understand. It was a fun evening. We ate some Mary Holmes Halloween chili and went up to Court Street Athens, there's a good Halloween party there every year for those who are unaware. You should check it out at some point. It's good stuff. I think you start the second round, Tom. I think you get snake draft style if we're doing it the same.
Okay.
You get another pickaroo there.
Number 4.
Okay. There's a few that I'm nervous about, but I wanted to pick 2001's hit Above Me by Rufio.
Oh, Rufio, Rufio, Rufio.
Oh! So this song was huge with our 8th grade soccer club. And to me, it was just as important as Sandstorm.
Ooh.
And as The Shooting Star That Destroyed Us All.
Yes,
like those were like the songs of the boys soccer club.
And when you say these songs, it was the only things we listened to for a calendar year. Like, hey, we're into techno. Oh, what songs? No, singular song. We listen to Sandstorm, and we only listen to Sandstorm.
So I remember going to the library after school before a soccer practice, and James McCallion had me listen to the song. And I didn't realize until about 8 years later that the version we both got off of Kazaa was a demo version. And I didn't hear the real version of the song until I was like in my 20s. And that's just super interesting to me. And also just a huge product of the time. This would have been 2000 and I think it would have been 2004 at this point that I first heard the song. So again, I wasn't jamming it when I was 10 years old, but came around to it eventually and just reminds me of, I think as a collective soccer team, we were pretty bad. We only won one game that season. I was definitely one of the worst players on the team, but reminds me of good times with good friends. And
there was that game at Family First where nobody had jerseys yet, so I just brought every Iroquois piece of clothing I had in my house, and everyone had the last name Holmes on their shirt for an entire game, and everyone in the stands was like, "There's no way, just from a genetic standpoint, that any of you are related. Like has to be an impossibility, just biologically." Like, but it was fun. John Leonard trying to wear like a medium, like a girl's medium, like that poor guy. Also, we should do a podcast featuring John Leonard because he's a freaking genius.
I haven't heard anything from him in a long time, so we'll have
him and James. We should have him and James on. We should have they should just do an episode for us.
We'll have to catch up. Take a week off.
They're wild and crazy guys, and much love. If I had to pick, I'm gonna see how long I can float this Blink song, but without anybody else taking it. I'm gonna hate you when you do. I'm just gonna try to see who takes it. But number 2 for me, I'm at a skating party. I am trying to skate fast in front of my crush to make her like me. And the song in the background is, of course, Are You That Somebody by Aaliyah. And there's baby noises, which are confusing but also stirring. Like, why would anybody put the noises of an infant into hip-hop? But, yeah, it's a good song.
Is that the
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I forgot about that song. Jesus. Wow. Okay.
Sometimes I'm goody. Sometimes I'm naughty. So, yeah, actually, we should do a skating party mix. What would have been on one of those mixes?
Like probably. What actually were on those mixes?
Yeah. And that would have been on it for sure. I had never heard a baby noise in a song. I was like, what the actual is this? But fast forward to me like in New Mexico at my job, like that being on one of the playlists, like I've been repping you on the house.
Yeah.
I don't know. Super good. Much love. One of the greatest R&B singers of all time. Yeah. Gone too soon, of course. Anyway, yeah, that's my pick.
Dope.
Damn.
Also, for the record, I did not skate well and failed to win over the crush, but the background music was good.
You just had us hanging on a cliff there because we really needed to know.
Zach, do you remember watching Pat try to skate with Jesse when you were in Cincinnati?
I remembered my heart nearly melting the ice.
Oh.
It was,
dude, that was like a week
sight to
ago,
behold.
or not a week ago, a year ago this weekend, or pretty close within a few days.
Wow.
That was one of...
You know what? We hung up your earrings on our tree this year, Tom.
What?
pick in the show notes, but you dressed up so festively that you poked holes in your ears to hang ornaments.
Oh my God. There was blood.
There was blood. Oh, lots. Too much. Some might argue. Like, oh, I'm getting dressed up in a costume. Oh yeah, how much blood was spilled? Any, which is always too much.
Honorable mention, number 1 vacation with you guys. I mean, the weddings were great and all, but that weekend was so much
Pretty good.
That was something.
damn fun.
Real good. Yeah.
Pictures in the show notes of our outfits. We all went to a thrift store and bought outfits to go ice skating in, and it was something.
Festive, at least that word would be accurate. Yeah. Very festive. All right, Zach, you get 2 picks, and I'm curious which ones you'll use.
Okay, so like we've done in the first one, we use a blend of what we listened to at the time and kind of later found out about and knew that was our style, right? So maybe we didn't listen to it at or during 2001, but maybe listen to it 2002, 2003. So
Sure.
I'm gonna make sure that we maintain that, or at least I'm going to maintain that. Does not apply to my number 4, but it does apply to my number 3, but I just had to make sure I got that out there. So number 4, I listened to this song on repeat at 11 years old. It's Smooth Criminal, Alien Ant Farm. Super. I heard a smack. I really hope I didn't.
That's a good one. That's a good pick. It wasn't in my top 5, but I'm glad it got picked. Your mixtape so far is like you're listing off all my honorable mentions, so I'm really glad. I'm just happy.
So really, nobody loses because all these 15 songs will end up being like the number 1s. And
Also, can we do an episode about that music video and how many nods to MJ there are in it? It's honestly,
Sure.
I fucking love that. It's like one of the best covers of all time.
Let's do it.
And he shaved, it was like the inverse mullet, or like the inverse, what do you call that when it's mohawk, where he only shaved one line down the middle of his head. A pretty good scream at the beginning too, right? The bassist, his tongue was out, like always. Like there was never a public appearance with that band where he wasn't just like
hanging out.
I don't know.
Well,
Like
good for him.
POD. I don't know. Just it was such a weird era. Anyway, good pick.
All right, number 3. This is where that statement comes out because I've mentioned before that Tom introduced me to a lot of pop punk, including Blink-182. So from Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, Reckless Abandon was my number 3.
Yes.
And this was a really, really tough one for me, especially because of my number 2. But this was really, really tough.
What's wrong with your number 2?
There's nothing wrong with my number 2, but my
To lose?
It's also off of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, I surmise.
yes, it is.
Ooh, I have 2 opportunities to steal it on the next go through.
I certainly hope you don't, but it's an, in my opinion, an unsung hero, but still on Reckless Abandon, one of those songs I learned how to sing on. And I mentioned before in a previous episode that I would be screaming this song, trying to get that register, Tom's register, that high, and I didn't quite have it yet. So I was more like, yeah, I was just kind of like yelling it, and my brother would yell down the basement steps like, "You suck!" I'm like, dude, I'm trying, all right, trying to get better. But I learned the guitar, never learned the drums, but I air drummed the out of this song.
Are you talking about Reckless Abandon, or
I am still talking about Reckless
Okay.
Abandon. I'm not on 2 yet because I did my 4, now it's my 3. 3 is
Now
Reckless
I'm
Abandon.
afraid that I'm almost surely going to steal your 2, and now I feel bad.
Okay. Oh,
That's
okay.
the name of the game, dude.
Yeah, it's the
Should I
name.
just do it now and rip the Band-Aid off?
Go right ahead, Pat.
Well, I will say this first. The first year I listened to the Take Off Your Pants and Jacket CD, I'd have one earphone in while trying to go to bed. I always thought that song, I always thought there was a 40-second gap in the CD. I was like, oh, that's artistic or something. But I was just missing his voice and the guitar for years. It's like, oh, there's a beginning to this song. And there super was, and it's super good. But yeah, so I got to enjoy that song all over again, which was a fun, I guess, Walkman thing to happen. Yeah. Anyway, also you had to listen to it in secret because, there were swears and stuff. You couldn't have Mary coming down too hard on that stuff. I'm going to go with Roller Coaster for my number 3.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to. it would make, it's not even as was that your 2, Zach?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, thank God. So there's enough to go around. We all
enough.
feast on Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. For me, it's the pound for pound best song on the record. We could debate that in a whole nother episode if you want. I Had That Dream About You Again was a lyric that shook my 12-year-old self to the fucking core every time I heard it. So, yeah, that's my number 3 pick.
I'm glad that it's because I love that tune. It's a really great song, but I'm really glad you didn't steal my number 2.
I'm glad that we all appreciate different parts of that record with such depth. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't, because we didn't talk about this beforehand, and I was kind of scared we were all going to steal each other's shit for this year.
I had a feeling that it was going to be overlooked because this is really interesting how it's all turning out. So
now I'm trying to think of what the hell it could be. Anyway,
I feel like
you're up,
I
Tom.
know, but you have one more, Pat, right?
No, I'm in the middle of the snake draft, so I just do one at a time.
Oh,
So you get 2
Okay.
now.
Yeah, now it's time. Yeah, right.
okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to write these down as I go, and I'm like totally engrossed in the conversation. I'm like,
Yeah.
not writing down. Okay, so what am I on here? I'm on number
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Okay. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that my introduction into like pop punk light was Simple Plan. And they came out with No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls in 2001. And at the time, I think my favorite song was God Must Hate Me. I told my story about my first day of 6th grade. Did not go over well with the nuns at Catholic school. But looking back, I really struggled between 2 songs. Either the album opener, I Do Anything, or I'm Just a Kid. And just now, in this moment, I think I'm going to take I'm Just a Kid for my number 3 by Simple Plan. Okay. And again, it's like, I don't listen to that album too much, but it was so instrumental in my like development at that age that I feel like I have to pick it. And then I'm going to go...
Real quick, it's another one off that Cheever by the Dozen soundtrack that doesn't get talked about enough. We did last week, the Sum 41 episode, In Too Deeps. It might be one of the better soundtracks out there. Could it deserve an episode of its own? Just floating it out. Deserves to be
I would
said.
love to. I would absolutely love to.
I would have to watch that movie because I have never seen it.
Well, get prepared to cry your fucking eyes out because it is a real tearjerker.
We should do movie nights where we all hop on FaceTime and just like watch a movie together.
Not even for the pod. I just would like to do that in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we move to our cabin in Vermont.
That's right.
Yeah.
The campus.
Oh, the reminiscent campus.
That's right.
Okay, so this one would have been later on that I was listening to it, probably 2005. And I had a secondary here in case it got stolen, but I'm going to pick Failure by Design by Brand New.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Zach, was that on your list still?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
And I'm actually a little embarrassed
Okay.
that
I missed it too. I did not know that was the year. I didn't know there was any brand new stuff that year. Interesting.
Brand New in 2001 was like an albatross just soaring way over my head.
And everyone else is reevaluating their list, right?
Basically, Tom, what we're trying to say is if you could kindly just right off, it'd be great for all of us.
Yeah, so that's a good one. We played that at my wedding, actually. Because originally my friend Hannah was going to come, and she's the pop punk queen as well, and put it on for her. She did not attend, so when we had our drag Halloween birthday party later on in the year, blasted that in the basement, and it was a lot of fun to dance to in a gold sequins dress.
There you go.
So son of a bitch, Tom, I'm glad you reminded, but now I have the one song, it's in my head, and I'm thinking of it right now. It's like, gosh, that would have made it.
One.
However, I was not listening to it at 11 years old, so
Neither
I feel better about it not being in my top 5. I will now feel better about putting it in the honorable mentions and feel okay about that. I can go to sleep tonight.
If it makes you feel better, I wasn't bumping Aaliyah in like on my Walkman. It was only a skating party specific awareness. So
I'm trying to blend. I'm trying to blend the two. Like
Right.
knowing songs, and then you know what I said before.
Right. All right. I have kind of worked myself into a corner here of some music that I wasn't listening to at the time, but came to appreciate later. And I might save it for. It's tough. It's really tough. There's a lot of good songs. I feel like, as always, the honorable mention section is going to be more entertaining than the actual picks themselves. I'm going to save my number one for number one, and I trust that y'all will leave it alone if you know me at all, which I know you do.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and therefore pick Give Me Rock in the Suburbs by Ben Folds, which I wasn't listening to at the time, but came to appreciate that album in a big way later. Mark it. Rock in the Suburbs, Ben Folds, which I learned was a parody song because the lyrics are like a little like what? And then you found out he wrote that about Rage Against the Machine and Korn. I found out that he was trying to be like, what do you have to be upset about? So if you listen to it again, maybe I just was the only dude in America that didn't know that that was a parody rock, comedy rock thing. Because but
that's pretty funny.
I guess he said when he was with Ben Folds 5, he used to do this bit where they'd rock real hard at the end of the show and get real metal and be like, oh man, sucks to be what? Like just kind of like, what do you guys like? I have a friend, Ryan, who often jokes like, what does Rage Against the Machine have to be so upset about? It was the Clinton years. So I guess Andrew, excuse me, I guess Ben Folds was mocking Korn when he wrote that song, which leaves a better taste in your mouth for sure. But it is catchy as hell, of course. And it is my number 4 or number 2 pick, depending on what direction we're headed.
Okay.
Yeah. I have never really listened to Ben Folds, so...
It's a good album. I would honestly say, I think good piano. I mean, he's just a good songwriter, talented vocalist, plays the piano, or probably plays most of the instruments on the recording. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going into Please Save Me, just start talking. I'm going to stop now.
And is it my turn? Is it my 2 and 1?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is your...
Okay.
Yeah.
This is good. I love this song. It's the only breakdown that Blink-182 has, like true pause breakdown, and it's Every Time I Look for You.
Oh, nice.
And listen to this song. It's a rocker. It goes pretty hard, and it slows down a little, and it just blasts you with
the album closer, right?
No, it's actually number 10 on the 13 album or 13
This anthem
song.
is
Part 2.
No, it opens
part 2
2.
opens the album.
Yeah. Anthem
Okay.
Part 2 opens it. And yeah, so number 10, Every Time I Look for You, 3 minutes, 5 seconds long. 3 minutes, 5 seconds of awesome. No. And
That's such an interesting choice. Because it's not the obvious single, right?
Right, which is so great about this particular album, 2001. We've hit it hard, which is...
Well,
fine.
going back to last week, Sum 41, like we couldn't talk about a single deep cut. Not that Every Time I Look, is it a deep cut? Would you say?
Every Time I Look for You?
Yeah.
You'll have to define what a deep cut is. I mean,
we like Blink a lot. For anybody in the, it's a deep cut.
Okay, it's like not
nobody
a single.
puts their frickin' single as second to last on the album.
Right.
Even if it was ironic, they'd put it last, not second. Like, it's a deep cut. It's super safe to say that.
Okay.
B-side.
I'm still not entirely sure what that means, but
all right, a deep cut is like when you think of a band, you don't think about this song. It's like kind of like a buried song that doesn't get the attention.
Oh,
of its
okay.
singles.
All right.
Would be a deep cut. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd say so.
It'd be like walking up to someone and be like, "Hey, do you have any thoughts at all about Benoit balls?" Like, no, man. Even Blink fans don't give a shit about any of that. And if they do, they're lying. Like, off. Just
Untitled from I think it was that same record is one of their best songs.
Oh, this is off Dude Ranch. It wasn't off earlier.
Oh, Dude Ranch.
No,
Dude Ranch is too. That's not it's a deep cut, but that's a whole nother argument. I thought we're talking about like pre-Dude Ranch. Which to me, the only song worth anything off pre-Dude Ranch would be Carousel, which they redid later anyhow.
Great bass line.
I'm so embarrassed. I thought Untitled was from Cheshire Cat.
And it's a bop. Or is it a banger?
It slaps.
Well, all the above, am I right? We should do a Blink-182 episode.
All right, y'all ready for my number one?
Yes, give it to me.
Yeah.
So I was a little angry as an 11-year-old, and I did have an older brother, and he gave me some music. He gave me some good music. He gave me some happy ska music. He gave me some harder music as well. And I will like to thank Brendan Poulsen for the Toxicity album, System of a Down. Ariel's No. Ariel's takes the cake for me. The final song, number 14 on Toxicity. On the CD, there's like this hidden track referred to as Arto. It features some. His name is Arto Tunçbayoğlu. He's a Armenian flutist, I think, some woodwind or something or other. But this song it rocks really hard. A lot of I don't know, like anger at my brother, maybe a little bit. Like, I love you.
Ironic that he gave you the song.
Yeah, he's like, I remember him saying, "You don't listen to any music that like swears and gets all mad." I'm like,
Oh, that's
no, man. Like, I'm listening to John Prine and Steve Goodman. They're talking about like talking backwards and songs about boogers, and but he gives me Toxicity. I'm like, oh dang. And then we both went to a Pittsburgh Steelers game, and I listened to the whole thing for the 2 hours down and 2 hours back. And I'm like, okay,
we should do an episode on the life of the lead singer of that band. I'd love to learn more about whatever the his upbringing was. They were such a weird, everything about, I don't know. I'd love to learn more about that band and what the hell was going on there.
Sure.
It was definitely a scene or crew I never ran with, but I'm curious about it always.
right on.
Yeah, he has quite the story. Quite the story. But yeah, Ariel's is my number one. It was also hard to make that decision based on a couple other songs out there. But I know that as an 11-year-old, I was listening to System of a Down, and this song ripped. So it did. I guess it wasn't as hard as I actually am making it out to be. It was a pretty easy decision for me.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious probably for me. I'm going to go Island in the Sun by Weezer.
Yep.
I think. Thank you, gentlemen, for not taking it. I would argue that possibly the best 2-song SNL performance in the history of the show would have been them playing Hash Pipe and Island in the Sun. I'm a biased party, obviously, but Green is often overlooked, in my opinion. Everyone's like, oh, Blue and Pinkerton. Weezer sucks. But f*** off, first of all. Second of all, Green's totally green, white. I mean, we do the Weezer episode, which we'll never do, but if we do, we'll talk about it in depth. But it's a good album. The first 2 songs of that album, I don't know, it was one of those ones where Rivers was like, I'm heartbroken that Pinkerton sucked, so I'm just going to try to write a Beach Boys record, and whenever he does, they're just catchy and great. This was the first and probably best example of that. But yeah, Island in the Sun. I think when my old iTunes, before my parents' old computer broke, and I lost every song I had ever collected into a library for the first time, which sucked. I think Island in the Sun and Miss You by Blink were the top 2 most listened to. I was like, damn, I guess duh. Anyway, we ended up playing it. We danced to Every Day by Buddy Holly at the wedding was our first dance, but then we played Island in the Sun right after that for everyone to come up and join us. So, yeah, I love Weezer. Big surprise. We've been saving that for 100 episodes now, you know.
I'm last, right? Get the last pick here.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we can dive right into the honorable mentions.
Okay. This is kind of a weird one. The thing about 2001 is there were songs that I'm like insanely passionate about, and then a bunch of songs that I like, but they just were not on the same, on the same plane as the other. So picking the last one was hard, but around this time I was really getting into the Starting Line, and they did not release an album this year, but they released a cover of Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now from Starship or Jefferson Starfish.
Wow.
Jefferson Starfish
would be the best band name.
Jefferson Starship?
And like the SpongeBob universe. Rest in peace, by the way.
Oh, man. It's a super good cover, and I think it might have been... No, there was definitely some really good NoFX covers, but it was one of the first times I heard I don't know, just a cover that was pretty true to the original, but just with a different energy that I really, really loved. And God, I just remember one of my friends had a car in high school, a convertible, just driving with the top down.
In the
singing
wintertime?
song. No, no,
because that was me.
I do remember that, man. That old blue Mustang. Yeah, a weird pick. It doesn't stack up against the other four, but I was actually listening to it right before we left for Florida a few weeks ago, and was like get in the shower, getting ready, singing it to Megan, and it's just a good song. I think it has stood the test of time and it deserves to be up there, I guess.
Well, shoot, dang.
Well, it's your list. Anything can be up there.
I feel a little more self-conscious about that one than the others, but I had four.
Well, that's the point of these episodes, right? Is to like, I will never not think of totally not knowing how to be anything but the worst at skating parties, and Aaliyah is the soundtrack to that for sure. Every time I hear a baby noise, I just am like, "Am I on skates now?" So it's, you never know what's going to get. You know, I've had a ton of fun delving into these lists and like, you know, what we were actually into at the time versus what stays with us for different reasons. And yeah, it's your list, man. I'm surprised Brand New wasn't number one or something like that, but or I guess depending on what order we're picking in, that makes sense for number 5 as well. Should we dive into the honorable mentions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'll go first. Carrying is Creepy by the Shins. I didn't know about that song until Garden State came out. Sugar Ray, When It's Over.
Yeah.
Someday by the Strokes. Break Ya Neck by Busta Rhymes. I can't say I was rocking it at the time. Wonder Boy by Tenacious D. I love that song, but I did not really love it till much later.
Wow.
Yeah, Tenacious D had like an HBO show in the 90s, and they've been doing it for a while. But I didn't get into them until Pick of Destiny, the movie, came out. White Stripes, We're Gonna Be Friends. I'm not cool enough to have been into the White Stripes at the time. Chop Suey by System of a Down was on like a warm-up mixtape that the Iroquois men's basketball team was into when I was real young.
Yeah, nice.
Love that song. I think rips is the right word. I think it rips.
Yeah.
It rips. American Hi-Fi, Flavor of the Week. I think James McCallion had it on a mix CD that he brought to my house. When, you know, you're like friends with somebody when they're just at your house when your family's doing something they would have normally done anyhow. And I think my parents just went to Eagle Video to rent like The Terminal with Tom Hanks, and James was just like, I'll hang around and watch too. I'm like, yeah, man, we're buds. Like, it wasn't like a planned like outing, you know, like when your parents, when you're young enough, like, oh, it's a play date. We're right in between high school where we could drive and play date. And James was just kind of like, it was too cold to play outside. Be like, you want to watch Terminal with my parents? And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like,
That's awesome.
We get everything to eat, like cereal, but probably only that, you know? So anyway, I associate American Hi-Fi with
that's
James
awesome.
McCallion.
James McCallion was a terrific music influence.
Yes.
He and Billy always, you know, I think he introduced me to Brand New with the music video to, what's the one? Die Young and Save Yourselves. Where he's in the bar and people are mimicking his...
Sick Transit.
Sick Transit Glory. Right.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Jimmy Eat World Authority song. Got into that album way later than I should have. Underneath It All by No Doubt. Your Body is a Wonderland by John Mayer. I remember the day my sister came home with the John Mayer record and was like, I'm just into this now, so deal with it. And two bands that I wasn't into at the time, but was kind of surprised that they were also, like 2001, what a stacked year. Alkaline Trio had music out that year, and so did Destiny's Child.
Yes.
So,
yes.
What a stacked year. I was honestly like, it was tough to narrow it down to 5. I'll say that.
What do you got, Zach?
So that John Mayer album was Room for Squares, right?
The one where he talks about, I'm going to run through the halls of my high school and
Yeah. Okay. So that's another one of those songs that ended up on like the radio station where my dad and I would drive out to the hunting destination and that song would pop up. So yeah, honorable mention. No Such Thing. That's the name of that song. So John Mayer, No Such Thing. Let Me Blow Your Mind. Eve featuring Gwen Stefani. What else? Fat Lip actually made it on that honorable mention. The Sum 41 Fat Lip. Lenny Kravitz, Dig In.
Nice.
I had Lenny Kravitz album. I think it was called 5. I had that, and I don't know why I had that, but I know I had it, and I listened to it. I was like, "Damn, this is good." And so,
he's a dude where he's like, he deserves to be famous, and I get it, but I've never seen his art and been like, I'm into this. Yeah, I was just like, by no means does he not deserve to be famous, but yeah. Anyway.
And what else ended up? Oh, and Brand New, Logan to Government Center. That
Nice.
destroys it. That's my favorite Brand New song is Logan to Government Center. Hands down, I will stand by that song.
Awesome.
Forever. And my honorable mention list is not that long. That is about it for me. It could have been, but I left it short.
Yeah, I didn't have too many. This isn't a band that I was into at the time, and I've found it hard to get into as I'm older, but The Middle by Jimmy Eat World is really killer song.
That's one of those ones for this, like, people are going to hear this and be like, what the f*** is wrong with you people?
Like, it was just a little bit before my time, you know?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. So,
like, we weren't quite ready to be that distortion angsty. I don't know. There's a couple songs off that record that, anyway, I had mixed feelings about not putting Jimmy Eat World in my top 5, I guess.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz.
Ooh.
Hash Pipe was on there for sure. Pop by NSYNC, like, has to be on there.
Yeah.
And then 2 bands that I just kind of wanted to give a shout out to. Relient K put out Anatomy of Tongue in Cheek that year.
Oh, is that the one with chapstick on it?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Right.
Is that Blistex and Barcode?
I remember specifically, and I was like prepping for this episode while I was in Florida, and I discovered Relient K like 2 days before I was a passenger in a 21-hour drive to Florida from Erie, Pennsylvania, and it was straight through. Like, stopped for gas, stopped to go to the bathroom when we got gas, and that was it. And I had like 11 songs on just whatever LimeWire had of Relient K, and a lot of them were from that record. And I went back through and I listened to it, and like none of them really spoke to me anymore. But it was important to me back then. And then gotta give mad shout out to our boy from Erie, Pennsylvania, Pat Monahan, with Drops of Jupiter by Train.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I was listening to Train at that time. You know, he was our local celebrity, and I still enjoy Train, man. They write some good music, and I will say that unashamed. Drops of Jupiter is super good. I'm not sure if Get to Me is on that same record. I think it might be. I remember loving that song. But yeah, just want to give some local Erie love to Pat Monahan and Train. And that's all I had. So there was obviously a lot more good stuff from that year, but that's what I felt drawn to. So yeah.
Real quick, Dirty Pop. There was a few things I did when I pitched Little League Baseball, and readjusting my pant leg with my cleat was one. And 2, when I was in a pinch with runners in scoring position, Dirty Pop would be in my head just from the first pinch I ever got in as a Little League Baseball pitcher. Dirty Pop was on the radio in between innings or something. They had a little stereo system at the ballpark. So Dirty Pop was forever in my head when I was on the mound. So
oh my God, that's awesome.
It was one of those weird, like, you wonder what go through the minds of athletes. But whenever I was like in my most,
Zen
runners on second and
state.
third, one out. Yeah, just like, just can't stop. So it would go through my head. I'd adjust my sock and try to get out of the trouble. Anyway, yeah, near and dear to my heart in the weirdest way. But that's it. I love that song.
That's so awesome. Oh man. Well, that is our 2001 playlist. I will make Apple Music and Spotify playlists as I did with our year 2000. I would really love to hear what other people would put into their playlists. It's fun talking to you guys every week, but it's somehow even more fun to hear from people and, their reactions of what we had to say and cussing us out for things we may have forgotten. What's your favorite song from 2001? You can tweet at us at _reminiscentfm. Before we close it down, John. Should we give our songs of the week?
Yes.
Good. I'll go first. This is an album that came out this year. I may have already recommended something from this album, but From the Outside by Real Friends, I think I may have recommended it the week it came out as a single. Just a really good song. If you watch it with the video, it gives a really interesting meaning to the lyrics. They do a lot of cool stuff with colors and the juxtaposition of different people on screen and their reactions based on the colors and different things going on. It's just a good song. It's, they're a pop punk band that came after Blink-182's heyday and whatnot, so they've received some criticism for just the era they fell into, but they've meant a lot to me over the years, and that song is just a super good effort from their 2018 album Composure.
I'm going to go Saint by Restorations off of LP 5000.
Yo. So you sent those recommendations to us a few weeks ago, and I wish I could have recommended this song because it is amazing.
It's from my friend Adam, recommended it, and the whole CDs or the whole album, the whole record is pretty good by them. It's kind of Rise Against meets Hold Steady is what I said to Adam at the time when he texted it to me. I still don't know if I find that to be totally true, but that was my impression on a first listen, at least vocally. But yeah.
I hear a lot of Gaslight Anthem meets Against Me in it.
Oh, maybe Rise Against and Against Me I always get mixed up in my head.
Yeah, I think you are.
The vocal, that one vocalist with the super distinct, unique, cool voice.
Oh, well, they both do. I don't know.
I'm glad you enjoyed it because, again, I don't always put my best effort into the recommendations, but the past 3 weeks I have with Snail Mail, Lake Street Dive, and Restorations. I'm into those bands very much at the moment.
Nice.
I also have been a little lax on musically. I'm usually okay at it, but what gets me through some days are John Denver and the Muppets' 12 Days of Christmas. And I will listen
to the Muppets' best work.
I really liked what the Muppets did with that album. They were fully present.
Fully toured.
I think they had it in full control.
I can never tell if you're kidding, but I fucking love that Christmas album. I think it's really good. John Denver is obviously a gem, and it adds a little, little homey family touch with the Muppets.
John Denver's full of shit, man.
When she says piggy pudding and he's like, no, figgy pudding, that's highbrow comedy right there.
And I feel like last week I had a Saint Seneca pick, and I really did like that song, so I felt like I was
bring it up again. I've done that before. If you're into it, let her rip. I think I recommended Julian Baker for a full 3 months earlier in the earlier iterations of the show.
Yeah,
like it's pretty much if you were like, oh, what is Pat recommended on the show? Be like, pretty much only Maggie Rogers and Julian Baker.
I was just gonna say I've been watching a lot of Maggie Rogers music videos, and they're really funny and cool. Not funny like comic, but they're good music videos. I like them, and I could go for 3 weeks on 3 Maggie Rogers songs, and feel no shame.
She's a star.
Well, I'm glad that no one picked anyone's. I was honestly nervous about bumming someone out.
When we go into a year knowing that one of our collectively enjoyed records is on it, I'm honestly shocked we tiptoed around each other's take off your pants and jacket picks. I'm also a little pissed off that you guys don't like Roller Coaster more. I think it's so clearly the best song on the album. But
I think it's honestly a chemistry thing. Maybe we're just so in tune. We knew which songs to pick and not.
Well, you guys, I'm glad you didn't pick Weezer and saved it. That was definitely a gentleman's move.
They're just not that good.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. The things I love are not great at what they do. As a Browns fan and a Weezer fan,
no,
I'll be in my corner enjoying these things.
Weezer rips. I'll admit it.
Yeah, they do. They're the best. Everyone else can off. Actually, I was lying. All right. I love you guys. Happy holidays to everyone. I forget when this one's going to drop, but this is fun. Tweet at us at _reminiscentfm. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know what you think of everything. And yeah, thanks for joining us.
More tunes.
Love you, dudes.
Love you. Bye.
All right, before you all start jumping down our throats on Twitter, I realize none of us put anything from All Killer No Filler in our draft. All right, the me 4 weeks in the future editing this show just realized that. But if you still feel the need to cuss us out, you can find us at _reminiscentfm. Let us know what would be in your 2001 Mixtape Draft, what a year it was. We love you all, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
I'm not recording. Oh my god.
That's okay, dude. That's just funny.